Hello, everybody. My name is Akia Salam, and I'm a journalist. I dabble in various different fields. But today I'm hosting this webinar, and this is on digital well-being. It is by TikTok, and it is supported by the Express Media Group. And I have some very, very interesting, very important people to talk about this field because, as you will realize, I'm not really a technology person, but I would like to field those questions which a person like me wants answers to when they see any new technology platform. I would like to introduce you to Jamin Tan. He leads the TikTok's trust and safety policy team in Asia Pacific, and they maintain content standards which help to keep TikTok the latest sunny corner of the internet. That's a very nice, description that they've given to the technology. He has a very impressive long profile. Unfortunately, I will have to skip that. So you will have to discover his expertise while we talk, because we don't have a very long period in which we can talk to each other. And I have other guests who are also just as interesting. And I would like to introduce my second guest, who is Jahara. She is the founder and CEO of Catalyst Labs, which which is now going to be a startup accelerator, which is focusing on Women Leadership Fellows program, which is something that interests me knowing. And she has been a technology person, and she's been the face of technology as far as in the industry, as far as Pakistan is concerned. And again, like Jamin Tan, has a very long and impressive introduction, which I'm going to skip. My apologies to both of you, because we need to discuss more about what we are talking, the topic of today. And this is why I'm going to quickly move on to my third guest, which is Junaid Akram, who himself has given me such a short and succinct description of himself that he calls himself a content creator and a social media activist. Now, can it get more focused on that? So welcome all of you to this webinar. And yes, I realize that we are very, very short on time, but there are some very important questions as far as this particular technology platform, TikTok, is concerned, and people are also interested in knowing about. And Jamin, with deference to you, I would just like to take your permission to slip in and out of English. And this is a new language which we Pakistanis own, and we call it Minglish, because there's a whole audience outside, of the Express Media Group, which probably would be more comfortable knowing what you're saying. And I will slip into Urdu after listening from you if I feel like it needs more explanation into Urdu. I hope that is all right with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you could just briefly tell us about the mission, which is a very, sort of a formal word, for something like TikTok, which is a word which has informality written all over it. So if you can tell us what was the philosophy behind introducing this platform, and then I will go and ask you about the details about this issue.
Thanks, Afia, and thank you for having us on the webcast as well. As you're aware, TikTok is one of these emerging platforms, and we really see ourselves as a leading destination for short-form mobile video. So we launched our app in May 2017, and since then, our mission really is to inspire creativity and bring joy. And so we've connected a global community of people who look for these fun, welcoming experiences and where people can discover and create authentic content. And of course, do this in a way that is lighthearted, real, heartwarming, and really connects to local communities as well. And in that context, my team's job is to make sure that they can do that in a safe way wherever people are using it.
So that's very interesting. And before I move to the other two guests, I would like to just ask you another question, because you use the word fun and authentic and lighthearted. And immediately then we moved on towards safety. So usually safety is not something that is associated, or rather as a concern when you're talking about fun and lighthearted stuff. But as far as TikTok is concerned, it has been a concern. Safety has been a big concern because of the way it has been used by some people. So could you just elaborate on the way or on the reason why safety is a concern, and what are the things that have actually raised these concerns, and you have taken this stance on being more proactive about at the policy level?
Absolutely. So as TikTok, has grown and as people have used it, we're very, very aware that to enjoy the best parts of TikTok, to create a really creative and authentic environment, it has to be a safe environment. And that's why we've actually invested very heavily right from day one in making sure that the product has safety features as well as safety policies in place. And you would expect this of a platform of our nature, and you'd expect that of TikTok, that we would be a responsible player. And that's exactly what we'd expect as well, which is why we've designed the platform with specific features like restricting who can send messages to other users, as well as specific policies which, dictate what we consider appropriate use of our platform. So that's most obvious in our community guidelines, which form the code of conduct for a safe and friendly environment on TikTok. And we recognize that, our platform is home to diverse users with diverse views, and some of them may be tempted to create or say things that not everyone would like or find appropriate. So our community guidelines explain clearly what is inappropriate, and we've made this available in many languages across APAC, including, of course, in Urdu, and put these online. And we also take them very seriously internally and enforce them quite rigorously. So whenever we see content that's inappropriate, or when users report content that's inappropriate, we look at that. We have human moderation teams as well as technologies that help us detect this content, and we really quite aggressively would remove it if we deem it inappropriate for the markets in which users are experiencing it. So
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, thank you. And you've mentioned that the community guidelines are available in Urdu, which means that you are very market focused. You identify your audience and you try to relate to that. So, Jahara, you being a technology person, you have an eye on all the different platforms that are available in Pakistan. And, like Jemin said, that TikTok is usually seen as something fun. मजे के लिए लोग TikTok की videos बनाते हैं और जिससे तफरीह के लिए करते हैं. तो इसमें सेफ्टी का एलिमेंट, जैसे इन्होंने भी कहा कि कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो टेम्प्ट होते होंगे अनसेफ कंटेंट के लिए. So how does this platform and the fact that they have introduced these the community guidelines in Urdu have a bearing, and what kind of a feedback have you been getting? Okay, I'm sorry because I think Jahara is disconnected. So I'll park this question and I will come back to her. But Junaid, since you are a content creator and you have been creating content on all the other platforms that have been available, and then when you shifted to TikTok, so you have already an established audience. Did they or did you feel that there could be these safety concerns as far as using TikTok when you started using TikTok?
Well, because I've been creating content for so long, and I've pretty much been responsible in terms of what I'm putting out there. So safety per se was not a concern. However, a lot of people, since TikTok doesn't get good rep in Pakistan because of the kind of content that is largely available on it. Again, no fault of TikTok on its own. It's basically based on what the users are putting out there. So there was a lot of concern from my audience that why are you choosing to be there? But then the kind of content that I started putting out there, now their focus has shifted because, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please go
so
ahead.
Because I access somehow I access British TikTok on one of my phones because I purchased a phone in England. So the kind of content I see over there is far more useful and it's very knowledgeable. उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें सिखाई जा रही होती हैं, photography tips, modeling tips, how to curate content वगैरह वगैरह. As opposed to that, when you access Pakistani TikTok, उसमें इतना कुछ नहीं सिखाया जा रहा होता. So using my platform, and because I somehow feel that I have a responsibility towards my audience. तो उसमें मैंने अपने TikTok पे हल्का फुल्का मजाक मस्ती अपनी जगह, but largely उसमें जो मैं content डाल रहा हूँ, it's only like knowledge based, fun facts, historical facts, ताकि 15 सेकंड 30 सेकंड में जो स्वाइप अप कर रहा है, जो स्क्रोलिंग कर रहा है, उसको कुछ सीखने को मिल जाए. तो उसके बाद से द फीडबैक हैज बीन रियली फिनोमिनल. हाउएवर, जैसे कि भी वो बात कर रहे थे सेफ्टी की, आई हैव पर्सनली नोटिस बिकॉज आई हैव बीन ऑन द ऐप फॉर अ व्हाइल. पहले बहुत सारी चीजें बिकॉज टिकटॉक वाज नॉट ऑब्वियसली, जब एक बाहर की कंपनी पाकिस्तान जैसे मुल्क में आती, तो वो कल्चरल सेंसिटिविटीज को लर्न करने में उनको टाइम लगता है. तो उनको आहिस्ता आहिस्ता पता चलता है कि हाँ ये चीजें यहाँ पे नहीं की जा सकती. सो दैट वो फिर एक दे गो एक्स्ट्रा माइल व्हेन इट कम्स टू सेफ्टी गाइडलाइंस एंड कम्युनिटी गाइडलाइंस. तो अब मैंने ये नोटिस करना शुरू किया है कि अगर आप कोई आम सी भी वीडियो डालें जहां उनको हल्का फुल्का सा भी एलिमेंट ऐसा लगता है कि इट माइट नॉट बी सेफ, वो फौरन फ्लैग हो जाती है. और फिर ये कि दे हैव अ वेरी गुड नेटवर्क जिसमें यू कैन रीच आउट टू देम एंड दे वेरी एक्सेसिबल, व्हिच इज unheard of when it comes to platforms, because we also understand लाखों करोड़ों लोग इस्तेमाल करते हैं. सो इट्स रियली रियली इम्पॉसिबल टू केटर एवरीवन. मगर ये कि वो फिर अनफ्लैग हो जाती हैं, देन दे गेट मैनुअली चेक. तो कम्युनिटी गाइडलाइंस की जहां तक बात की जाए, आई हैव बीन सुपर इम्प्रेस्ड लेटली. जो मैं खुद जो पर्सनली नोटिस कर रहा हूँ, माय फ्रेंड्स, माय फेलो कॉलीग्स, तो ये एक अच्छी खुशाइन बात है.
Thank you. And this is interesting because they horses or courses वाली बात है. There are different age groups, different audiences for different platforms.
Right.
And you being on other platforms and now on TikTok, have you grown your audience into another age demographic? Because then my next question again is going to be from Javed to explain something about that. And then I'll come back to Johara. Welcome back.
I'm not sure about the age group. However, the diversity has increased. That I have noticed. Because TikTok की penetration जो है वो इतनी deep है, and it goes to like the remotest areas of Pakistan, or because it's very easy to consume that content, it's very difficult to have someone bring over all the way to your YouTube and all the way to Facebook, because that's a very big commitment to have someone watch 8 minute का vlog or 10 minute का vlog. However, as opposed to that, it's far more easier to have someone access your or consume your content which is only 30 second or 50 second. तो उसके बिना पे, उसकी बुनियाद पे, what I've noticed, age group का I haven't looked into analytics as of yet. However, मैंने diversity बहुत notice की है, और बहुत दूर दराज के areas के लोग जो है मैंने notice किए, which is good कि like अगर TikTok के through messaging बहुत diverse area तक जा रही है, so we can use this platform for the better, और इससे हम बहुत सारी messaging भी कर सकते हैं.
Thank you. And Jamin, I was talking to Junaid. I don't know how much you picked up in between because we slip in and out of the languages. But I asked him about the diversity and the age group that he is now targeting through TikTok. So there is this term age gate. If you can explain that to our audience, because it's important to see, who you chose as your target audience as a technology platform.
Of course. So we believe on TikTok that safety begins before someone even downloads the app. And, one important part of this is that we're an app for ages 13 plus as per our terms of service. And, if a user is younger than that, we really don't even want them on the platform. So how do we enforce this? Well, we take it very seriously. And right at the point when you sign up for TikTok, we double check that you really are of an acceptable age to use our platform. Once people download the app and start creating content, we actually do monitor usage of this. And if we suspect there are people who are not being truthful about their age and who are actually below our minimum age, we would take them off the platform as well. And beyond that, even for teenagers, we have a lot of safety by design features, as we call them. And that means specific features on our app which help protect younger users, limit the visibility of comments and messages to them, and really help to keep them safe, and also help to pair their accounts with adults in their family through a feature we call family pairing. So AgeGate is the first step where we want to make sure that only the right ages and the right people are on our platform. But more than that, we see it as an overall experience where people on our platform, especially our younger users, absolutely have the right features within the app to stay safe. And that's something that we take very, very seriously.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that, and I will come back to you to explain about more safety features. But Jahara has joined us back. No, I'm holding. Okay, we lost her again. I think next time, if you permit me, in that sentence, I'll switch to Jahara the minute I see her on screen. So, yeah, because we would like to have her insights as well. Obviously, she has her eye on the technology and how it has developed the whole industry and how it's the feedback is. So, again, to continue with what you were saying, Jamin, could you just explain to our audiences what is the difference between a TikTok challenge and a challenge created by the users? So this is something very, very important to understand in the context of safety.
Absolutely. So first of all, we have to explain what a challenge is, right? And I think on TikTok, we've seen a lot of different trends emerge, and this really showcases some of the creativity on the app. So most TikTok challenges start with a popular song or a sound or a specific set of topics, and one video with that will go viral, and soon other users start putting their own spin on it. And when more and more people start to do their own versions, that becomes a trend. So TikTok challenges are really the sort of officially sanctioned ones, or rather, there are official and unofficial TikTok challenges, and a lot of the ones that we've seen that we've actually found troubling, we will start to control from the TikTok perspective. So if there are challenges created by users which encourage them to do, for example, act in a way that might not be safe for themselves or for those around them, we would consider that a dangerous challenge and a dangerous activity. And we would start removing that whenever we see it. It does take us, I think, to the very modern present day when we look at this, because the nature of the internet now is that trends emerge so quickly and people can be so creative and showcase some really great things there. But at the same time, we're mindful that sometimes people don't act wisely. And when we see that, we absolutely take action and remove those dangerous challenges when users create them. And of course, if TikTok created a challenge, we'd want to make sure that it's absolutely safe and therefore protect people there.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. And Junaid, when you were talking about, creating your content for a more diverse audience, so was this also a concern, or was this a feedback that you received from your audience that there could be some content that was dangerous? So why are you on this platform? Did they say that, or did they just ask you why you have to use another platform since you were already established elsewhere?
No, there was like I said before, because I've been creating content for almost like over a decade now, and people are very much familiar with my style of work. So that safety concern was never there. It only came from the standpoint of, because a lot of people do not accept wholeheartedly the acceptance is not there because of some content they might have consumed or they might have come across, and only that concern was there. That, like, are you going to create the similar content over there? So that concern arose from the people who assume that I might be making unsafe content or irresponsible content, but which I obviously proved with my work and over the course of few months. So now at least that concern is not there anymore.
So you had mentioned, when and I introduced you as such, you said that you're a content creator plus a social media activist.
Yeah.
So how do you take your activism forward through this medium?
So basically, I've always believed in a content. So personally, I always enjoyed comedy, which had some sort of element of messaging. So I grew up watching 50-50 and all those the comedy that we used to see in the 80s. They always had some sort of messaging, underlying messaging, with fun, because that's an easy way to send the message across to the audience. So I've always used that technique. Um, I've sorry, I forgot your question. I'm sorry, I got blank. 50-50 में फंस गया मैं जाके. माजिद जहांगीर
No,
साहब
no,
याद आ
that's
गए.
okay. But I just wanted to ask that what was in your mind when you chose this particular platform, and what
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. So
social
basically,
activism you
so
actually do.
if you look at numbers, TikTok spreads very quickly. Like the growth on TikTok is phenomenal. I've been um, like when it comes to activism, I've been advocating to my friends, my colleagues, people who I meet who are creating content or who want to start. I always suggest them TikTok, and I sense a little bit of reservation because, again, like I said, the acceptance level is not that way as it might have for other platforms, possibly because of the kind of content they get to see. Again, it has to do with the algorithm, the kind of videos you stay on. The algorithm shows you those videos, so it's basically what you're looking at, and the app will the platform will show more of that. So I use activism in terms of advocating the ideas and whatever I can. When it comes to, I mostly focus on the education side because I personally believe that is something that is going to take our country move forward. So I basically talk about things that are largely, and that is the reason why a lot of youngsters connect with me because they feel that I speak for them. And even when I met the Prime Minister, there was a Q&A session and a lot of people were asking questions that were related to them. I, on the other hand, asked a question about the freelancer market, that they are struggling with the finances, they are struggling with opening bank accounts. So that's why the younger audience connect with me so well. So I've been advocating. In fact, when the TikTok got banned the first time, I actually made an entire podcast with my fellow YouTubers, and we were actually advocating that a platform should never be banned. It's never a platform is never responsible. It's the user. So I've always been advocating because people need to have a platform to express themselves, and TikTok has allowed. We see a lot of people from underprivileged backgrounds who are making it really really big. People from villages, like people who otherwise wouldn't have made it in life and must have might have lived a very insignificant or a very invisible existence. TikTok has given them identity. TikTok has given them a platform, a voice, and I support that. Everyone deserves the right to express themselves. However, how they're expressing themselves, we can debate on that. But one should never take the route that we are going to stop you या आपकी हम आवाज बंद कर देंगे या हम आपको बोलने नहीं देंगे. That is never the right way. You should not choke people from expressing themselves. You can discuss the ideas. So when it got banned the first time, that was my take on it. That it's not, and I showed examples of TikTok from other countries. So I was traveling in Singapore pre-COVID, and I accessed TikTok. And how TikTok works is wherever you are, it shows you the content of that country. And the kind of content I saw the first time, I was surprised. I was like, this is amazing. And it was so addictive that I actually sat down and watched TikTok for 4 hours. And my wife got really angry that we're in Singapore. It's a very expensive place. We came here to travel and you're here just watching TikTok. And I said, it's so addictive and like the kind of content is so good. So I've been advocating on good content. In fact, I met Fawad Chaudhry Saab when he was leading IT ministry. I actually proposed the idea to him, and that was the crux of the meeting. There were other people as well; they had their own ideas. I proposed him that there should be a TikTok for Ministry of Science and Technology. Why? Because Malaysian government. See, the thing is, it's not the government does not have to sit back and wait for the people to come to them. Government has to go to the people, which is why Malaysian government is on TikTok. NHS in England is on TikTok. They're advocating. So when they know that these are the platforms that people are using, so they do their public service messaging on that. So I suggested there should be a TikTok for Ministry of Science and Technology where we can make, and I can make for him, 15-second, 30-second experiments of science. And we can, as a government, you can talk to TikTok that whoever accesses the platform that video or that channel should be there on the home screen, and we can talk about it. So that way, people who are using TikTok,
Thank you. Sorry. I'm going to cut in because,
sure,
as I promised, Jahara is here. I must grab
sure,
her.
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Thank you very much for giving these very examples which make it very clear on how the users can use the platform.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
so Jahara, in your absence, we were talking about the. Okay, I'm sorry, we lost her again, and I'm so sorry that I cut you in.
No, sorry.
With sentence. So okay, let's just go back. Let's just go back to what you were saying. I would like to actually go to Jamin. What is the significant improvement you think TikTok has done in the past period for the safety of the platform, given that now so many people are on it, and like Junaid has mentioned, that people are actually, the content, it's not just the message, it's the medium also that gets to be an addiction, that people then go to that platform to access the kind of content they are looking for.
Absolutely.
So how do you do these improvements? Do you wait for user feedback, or is it a process of continuous R&D?
Right. So the answer is all of the above. I think from our perspective, safety is never done, right? We are constantly looking for ways to improve the ways that we detect problematic content, take action on it quickly, and of course, that users experience safety more broadly. So let me give you some concrete examples of this. Just in the last week, we've announced expanded efforts to improve digital well-being, and in particular, looked at ways where users can identify problematic comments on other videos and report those, or if it's a comment on their video, would be able to report it in-app, remove it, and ensure that if there's someone who's trying to bully or harass them, they can much more seamlessly identify that, take action on it, and have a better experience. And that's just the latest. Over the last year, we've looked at multiple ways to systematically improve the level of safety. Specific to Pakistan, we've really significantly expanded our moderation teams that speak local languages, and not just, but primarily Urdu. And beyond that, we've also consistently looked at how we can continue to improve our technologies that look at problematic content and identify that sooner, so that we can clamp down on problematic content far before it starts to go viral. And I think this really reflects our commitment to ensure that content in Pakistan gets more and more appropriate and more safe for use. At the same time, we recognize that it's not just us that's involved. Users are also very important, and so we look for ways to partner with NGOs, civil society, and safety experts through things like our Asia Pacific Safety Advisory Council, as well as through consultations with the governments around the region, as well as with specific experts who can tell us more about niche issues and help us to understand what users go through and what we can do to make that safe.
Jan, you will be having famous last words. Unfortunately, while we wanted a lot more insights from you, we have only a few seconds left. So quickly, I'm going to rattle off a number of questions in one. So one is, of course, that what significance is, or the significant improvement that you've seen in the platform. Also, for such user-driven platforms, especially where the content is being created by the users, how are the safety guidelines? How do you view the safety guidelines, as well as the fact that community guidelines are being produced in the local language? And also, Junaid had mentioned the kind of content that is that has the potential of reaching each and every, far and wide, especially in Pakistan, and the content that can be accessed over this platform. So, can you just quickly give us an overview?
So, I'd start with your last point, which is the kind of content, and I have seen the kind of interesting content, educational content that is being created by creators here locally. And although you may think that 15 seconds or 30 seconds is not enough, But if you can relay a concept in 15 seconds, and you use the kind of music or animation or something to make sure that youngsters are interested in absorbing that content, it's happening. And it's not just teachers or organizations that are developing this content. Youngsters are creating it for other people their age, their peer groups. Now, the parental guidelines and parental controls, that I don't know if Jimin talked about that, but that enables parents to make sure that nobody who is supposed to not access content or deliver content to a youngster is able to do so. And I think TikTok, as far as I have seen, because I've been working with them for quite a few weeks, months actually, I've seen how serious they are about making sure that the content is safe for consumption, and that the right kind of, they're even using AI to make sure that any content that is not supposed to be on that platform for the 13 to 16-year-old bracket especially is removed right away or not allowed at all. And that is great. It's good to see such responsible behavior from a platform. And I think that they continue to involve educational institutions, people like Junaid, people who are actually responsible content creators, to make sure that anything that they are missing out on, that we will all be able to help them do, because they're not in this for the short term, they're in this for the long term. And so I think it's good to see technology being used so responsibly. I've also seen youngsters teach each other how to set up an iPhone or any other technology. I know the kind of educational content, and then of course there's cooking content, people teaching others how to create art. Creativity is something, I think it's given youngsters the opportunity to express themselves and to develop their own personalities, develop self-confidence. This is something that was needed. And I think as long as we're careful about the safety aspect, we should have no problems in making sure that youngsters are protected. So that's what I would say, if that's all the time I have. Sorry about the internet connection.
Well, we are sorry we weren't able to, have you for a longer time, but I'm very, very grateful to all my guests, to Chairman Tan from Singapore, he joined us from there, and Junaid and Jahara, and imagine, we have got all J's, 3 J's. So, thank you very much for your very insightful, talk, because there are people like me who are not very, very into this technology, so you've educated me, and there are a lot of people out there who wanted to know about, and to to have their concerns, to have the issues that they had in their mind, and I think you've all tackled them very well. You've talked about safety, you've talked about responsible content creation, and Jahara, last but not the least, you've talked about the ability to unleash your own creativity and develop yourself as a person. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Express Tribune, in fact, the Express Media Group, for the opportunity to talk about this issue and to engage with so many people. Thank you, and goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.